Hi, old Rev May here. Just wanted to take a minute and talk about something other than the Bible and church. Talk about how about those Chiefs? I tell you what, I was born and raised in St. Louis and was a football Cardinal fan. And I think, 6 or 7 years old when the Cardinals moved to town. And they had a horrible owner, and Bill Bidwell, and the town didn't care much for him, and he didn't care for much for us. And so, but I always was loyal to them because I lived there, and I loved a lot of the players. Dan Dierdorf was one of my favorites, him and Jim Hart, and uh, we had a lot of good players playing in St. Louis, but they only made the playoffs 3 times in 26 years, and they got knocked off every year by, I think it was Minnesota, knocked them off, and they never got to the big game, all right, the Super Bowl. And so it was kind of discouraging. But when he threatened to move the team and we were having all sorts of problems, I started following the Chiefs on the other end of the state. My family lived down on that end of the state. That's where my mother was from. So I started following them in 1984. And I think that the football Cardinals moved in 85 or 86. So I've been a Chiefs fan since then. Up until Super Bowl 54, we hadn't won a Super Bowl game in 50 years. But I still was a Chiefs fan, so I had the Cardinals. Now, I know that the Rams moved into St. Louis after the Cardinals moved, but I wasn't there, and I never got into the Rams. I never followed them. I didn't care. They won a Super Bowl there before they moved back to California. It changed ownerships. The lady died. Her family sold it to the Walmart guy, and off he goes to California. So anyway, but I've been a Chiefs fan, diehard, since '84. I love them, and I've always have, and I always will. And but I tell you what, since they drafted Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs fans has had something to cheer about since Super Bowl IV. That's the last time we had a big. It took 50 years to get the second one. But I tell you what, there's something great about a guy who has been a starter for 7 years, and he's played in the AFC Championship all 7 years. Won their division all 7 years. You know, played in 4 Super Bowls, won 3 of them. They've won back to back. And today, if they can pull it off, they're going to have back to back to back, which has never been done. If they pull that off, I'll be so happy. I'll be so elated, and it's probably something I'll never see again in my lifetime. In baseball, there's been a few times they've had back to back, all right, at to back, won 3 in a row. But they only have 26 players. They used to have 25 when those happened. They only had 25. Football, you got 53. It's a lot harder to hold a team together. Not only that, the average lifespan of a baseball player is 14 seasons. Football's 4 seasons. Injuries are 10 to 15 times higher in football than it is in baseball. I'm not taking nothing away from baseball. I've been a Cardinal fan my entire life. Always will be. I love them, and I'll always be a Cardinal fan. But football, to win back to back to back with 53 players, and you're drafting people every year. And when you draft them, you have to get them in. If you get them in, somebody's got to go. If you win a Super Bowl, everybody wants top dollar for their services, and you can't sign them all. That's what's amazing about this three-peat, if it's pulled off today, is you have to juggle around, and you have to let some real good players go because you can't sign them all. So you have to fill them with the rookies you draft and hope that they play good, and maybe sign a free agent here and there. And I tell you what, they've done a great job. And I realize I'm a minister, and I realize that my channel's all about God and Christianity, but I just wanted to share it today. I'm so enthused. You know, I hope that they pull this off. It would be a wonderful thing for sports to have a three-peat in football. It's never been done, and I don't think it'll be done again. It's very difficult to put 3 of those together when you have 53-man rosters and people are getting hurt, season-ending injuries. You know, take a look at Hollywood Brown. We solved him to try to help us at wide receiver. And The last game of the preseason before the season started, he tore his ACL. Been out the whole year. He came back for the last game, and then the 2 playoff games, we got him back. That's what can happen to you in football. People get hurt. And so Patrick Mahomes, he played 1 Super Bowl limping around, all taped up. His ankle was in bad shape, but he won the Super Bowl. He didn't give up. We had a playoff game where we were 13 seconds left. We had to have a field goal. He threw 2 quick passes. They called a timeout. The first pass, timeout. Threw a second pass, timeout. 3 seconds left. Took him 10 seconds. And then our Butker come out. What did he do? He kicked a 48-yard field goal, sending it in overtime. Then we won the toss of the coin. We didn't make the rules. The rules always been, if you score a touchdown on the first drive, the game's over. If you don't, you kick a field goal, the other team gets it, and if they can score a touchdown, they beat you. If they can kick a field goal, then you keep going until the time runs out. You give 1 15-minute period. The Chiefs took the ball, never gave it back. Drove it all the way down, threw it in the end zone to Kelsey, and it was over. And they won. They went to the Super Bowl and won. So I'm here to tell you, I love my Chiefs. I thank God that we do have sports. And if you read in the Bible, Paul was always talking about running the race. He was always talking about sports. And so I think Paul would have been a Chiefs fan too. All right. I love you. I just wanted to give you a little jab today and tell you, go Chiefs. Boy, I hope that they win and get the three-peat. I think it'd be wonderful for football and for all of sports, and sure be wonderful for the Chiefs fans. And let me say something. Everybody keeps talking about that referee blew the game with the Bills, and the Bills would have won if we hadn't had the referee on our side. He's been involved in 10 of our games since Patrick Mahomes joined the team. We've won 5 and we've lost 5. All right? We had a touchdown last year. We got Kelsey, caught it, was going down the field. They got a hold of him, going to tackle him. He threw it over to Tony. Tony ran it in the end zone. They called it back, said Tony's foot was too far over the line, wiped our touchdown out. We had to start over again. All right? There's 32 teams in football. The Chiefs are the 6th most penalized team in all football this year. That means there's 26 teams in football that's had less penalties than us. So if we're paying the referees to help us out, and if we're getting the breaks by them, we need to keep our money. It's not working. We're the 6th most penalized team out of 32 teams. And we have went 5-5 with Blakeman being our referee, so we haven't had no advantage there. Let me tell you something, folks. It's bittersweet. In the 70s, when I was young, the Steelers won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. The Steel Curtain and Bradshaw and Lynn Swan and me, Joe Green, and I could go on. Everybody loved them. I was happy for them because you had to follow somebody because you knew the football Cardinals weren't going to win a Super Bowl. But you still loved the Cardinal players. You were still loyal to them. But I tell you what, a lot of people hated the Steelers. And then when San Francisco won so many, everybody hated them. And then Tom Brady up there in New England, they hated him and Belichick. And they knocked them all the time. And they had Deflategate and they had Spygate and all this stuff. You know, when you're at the top and you win consistently, people are going to wonder why. They can't believe that you're a good team. They can't just say they're a good team. They got to say, oh, they either cheated or they got the referees working for them. The referees, you read it yourself. The referees they're not helping us out. We're the 6th most penalized team in football. And we've had big plays erased from these referees. And the one that everybody says partial us, we won 5 and lost 5 with him in charge doing the game. So that's not, every team gets bad calls. They try to eliminate as much of them as they can with the red flag. But once you've used that and you have no more, if you get a bad call, it's not a score, you can't get it challenged. So yeah, they're not perfect. Referees see it in real time. And they only see what they see. Where we get to look at it on the screen over and over in slow motion. They close in on it. Oh, the ball touched the ground just a little bit there, but he's got his hand under it and all that. Referees don't get that. They got to do it right now. They got to make a decision, you know. So realize every team gets bad breaks. Every team maybe get a good one once in a while. It's up and down. But no, the referees are not in a pocket with anybody. and they're not helping anybody to win. Other than the last game of this season when we didn't play any starters. We kept all our starters out. It didn't matter if we won or lost the game. Why do you want to win guys, hurt guys going into the playoffs? It's stupid. We didn't play them. Other than that, we were 15-1. All right? The Chiefs has won 21 out of the last 22 games. 21. You don't get 21-1, by not being a good team. Referees can't help you out that much. 21-1. And we won 15. We won 2 playoff games, 16, 17, 6 more, 23. They're 23-1 in the last 24 games. Except that game where they didn't play any of their starters. I don't count it because you can chalk it up as a loss. It was a loss. But they weren't they wasn't playing the game to win. We had no starters in there. We didn't care. All right, we wanted everybody healthy, and that's what they are. We went in the playoffs strong. We wanted to be the number 1 seed. Andy Reid accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish. Now it's today. I hope that the Chiefs win. Not going to pray for them to win because somebody's on the other side, a Philadelphia Eagle fan, they're praying for them to win. What I do is I pray that the players play to the best of their ability. If they can play to the best of their ability and not get injured, that's what I pray for. Then it's up to them on the field to decide who's going to win. God's not going to help you win a game. No need praying to him. But you can play to your best ability and do good at doing the best you possibly can. So win or lose, I made this video before the game because I want you to know I love my team, and what they've accomplished thus far since Patrick Mahomes come in the picture is absolutely astonishing and amazing. And no one in football's ever had the first 7 seasons like Patrick Mahomes has his first 7 seasons. And that whole team constantly working together and doing their jobs. Defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, the whole 9 yards. They're wonderful, and they're a good coach team. And I pray in my heart, to me, not to God, that they make it today and make the three-peat and win their 4th Super Bowl in 6 years, 5 AFC titles in 6 years. Wonderful. I tell you what, after 50 years not winning, it really feels good to be a winner. God loves you. I love you. If you didn't watch this, that's fine. If you did and you want to put your team down there that you love, or if you want to say something about it, help yourself. I love you. God loves you. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for looking at the video.